everybody. Hi. How's it going? Welcome to Quilt Nerd. This is a show that is live. So anything that I do that's wrong and not morally. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know. It could. Anything that I do is live in front of the world, and it's a good thing that I really like this topic, because if I didn't, it would be like a very depressing show. Because I'd be like, why am I here? I don't know. I'm in a strange mood today because, well, I'll tell you why. But yeah, so this is a show where we nerd out on quilts, and it's on Twitch because I think, in fact, I was reading about this last night. I think the future of video content is live streaming. I'm sure that it is. And there are people who agree with me, like out there writing things about market influences and so forth. And so I was reading about it, and I really like this platform, and I'm really grateful for it. And I'm grateful for you for being here. We talk about quilts here. Oh no. You know what? That's actually the wrong background. It looks really cool, but this is the one. This is the one I wanted. But that's okay. So yeah, here we are. And everything's fine, and it's St. Patrick's Day. So I realized that this morning, and I think that's where it began, where my content, programming changed quickly, strangely, abruptly. Part of it was because of that, and I was like, St. Patrick's Day quilts. But then I thought, it's okay. I could do green quilts, we could do something like that, but there's another St. Patrick's Day right around the corner. I mean, relatively speaking, it's going to happen in the blink of an eye, so we'll have time. And the show will probably be on forever because there's so much to look at and think about and learn about when we look at quilts. So, but something very, very strange happened, because something strange happens on this show every single time. I mean, like a full-on, And this one's really good. They're always really good. Strange coincidences happen, and we all know, everybody here. Hey, everybody. I'm going to say hi to some people here in just a second. But the people who watch this show know that, we find patterns. Human beings look for, symmetry, and, patterns are kind of just how our brain works in those. So we know that these things aren't necessarily magic, these things that happen, but sometimes they feel like it. So I was like, oh my God, St. Patrick's Day. I have to at least wear green, And so I went into my closet, and I don't have any. I mean, I really don't wear green. I don't wear purple. I mean, of course, there's little flecks of things sometimes, purple and so forth. But I mean, green. I even went into my workout gear. I mean, I'm not going to wear a sports bra. Maybe that would catch people's attention. But I really don't have any. So I was like, well, Eric has t-shirts, and they're often green. So I'll just I'll see what he's got. And I open his closet. He's not here, so, I thought it was okay. I mean, can a wife borrow her husband's t-shirt, or can she not borrow her husband's t-shirt from time to time? So I go in, and what is hanging on the hanger right as I open the closet? Oh no, it's green. Oh no, what am I going to do? I think I have to do this. Because you have to see this. Are you ready? Are you ready for the weird thing that happens when I do that? Look at this. Oh no, I know what it is. Wait, I know what to do. Okay, so you saw the green behind the curtain, which is also Wizard of Oz. I mean, let's be honest. So what I can do, if I turn off that filter, what will happen when I turn it back on? Maybe it will not be good. Listen, look. Here's what it's obviously a 4-leaf clover. It's a 4-leaf clover on a sweatshirt. I mean, what's up with that? Why? How can it be? But it is. Here's what I'm going to do. On camera, I'm going to take a picture of this. I mean, I just want you to see it. And it's green. It's about the only green thing that I have, I mean, and here it is. So, oh yeah, this is great. This is going to work. Did you notice I got a haircut? I did. Okay. All right. I'm going to send it to myself. It's very exciting. Never taken a picture on the show before. You guys, I'm going to get it together. Okay. So, okay. Let me say hi to people who are here who've kindly come to the show today. I don't know. It's I think that the luck of the Irish is going to be with me shortly. Okay, here we go. Done. Technology. It's amazing. Yeah, I got a haircut. And it seems maybe a little bit shorter than it actually is. I could take this down a little bit and show you, but yeah, it's a little bit shorter, but you know, my ends, the ends were getting pretty intense. So, okay. Oh, I got it. All right, I got it. Here's what I'm going to do. Download it. And if you've never seen the show before, it's usually a couple hours long. And that's because these kinds of things happen from time to time, where we have to move things around at the top of the show. But usually not. But it's a longer show because we have the ability to do it. And you can sew, you can like clean the house, you can make dinner, you can do all kinds of things while you watch this show. And that's kind of the way live streams work, you know? I mean, that's the way I kind of think about them. All right, let me, because I watch a lot of live streams, and that's sort of what happens when I do that. All right, here we go. I'm going to show you my thing. Look at this. Look at this. Hang on. It's a 4-leaf clover right there. Isn't that crazy? I mean, I just didn't plan that at all. And there it is. So that's what we've got. And I'm very excited about it. Okay, we're back. I mean, you know, doing that on screen live, that was the first time I've ever done that. It's a little stressful. So let me say hi to people and you know, settle in because of that. Okay, Padma. Hey, Padma. God, I really appreciate you guys a lot, especially today. Sue and Bip, thanks for, you know what? Okay, so I'm going to talk about the Quilt Nerd on Parade show, which is coming up soon. But I believe I got one from you, Bip, but we had an email the other day. Okay, Myra and Tani. St. Patrick's Day greetings from Joyous Fibers, and corned beef and cabbage are at the ready. That's pretty cool. Corned beef, 1,000%. Cabbage, I'm lukewarm on it, but I would eat yours for sure. And Word and Bird Nerd. Your great-grandfather, Word and Bird Nerd, comes from Londonderry, North Island. That is awesome. That is very cool. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Hey, Karen, you're all ready. I should have said hi to everybody first, because now I feel completely back to normal. Okay. Stephanie Cake, happy St. Patty's Day. Your DNA says you're as Irish as a potato. I don't know. I don't have a sound effect for that, but I like it. When someone says something funny, I don't know. It's like you're under arrest for being adorable. I think that's that. And Myra's at work, waiting for your patient and waiting for the patient you're interpreting for to show up. That is awesome. I did not know you did that also at the hospital where you work, right? Clinic? You don't have to say, but we know you're a healthcare professional, and we appreciate you. And you're translating too. I love this audience. Oh my God. Bridgewater in Virginia. Happy Green Day to you. You know I'm in Chicago, and they turned the river green. And so I'm going to have to go down and see it. And I was thinking about that river, that green river, also a beverage, right? I used to get green rivers when I was growing up in Iowa. They had them at the drugstore. Soda fountain, you know. I really grew up with a drugstore with a soda fountain. We'd get green rivers. But I was thinking about the Green River this morning and how, you know, it's really beautiful. Have you all seen it? Have you been in Chicago? I mean, some of you are in the area. Have you seen the Green River in Chicago? It's really cool. I mean, I don't find it like kitschy or weird, or it's a spectacle, but it also, I mean, the Irish traditionally not been treated so great, you know, in these United States, you know, a lot of really hard history. And in Chicago too. Now, the Irish, you know, people triumphed here, you could say, you know, I mean, Chicago, you know, Irish Chicago, especially the northwest side, a lot of Irish folks, and in Bridgeport too. But, you know, I was thinking about the Green River and how it's really, it's a tribute, and maybe there's been a lot written about this, and I'm not like, this isn't news to some of you, but I kind of always thought about it as kind of like this silly thing, and believe me, people are partying hard even as we speak right now. So I kind of don't like to venture out on St. Patrick's Day because it's kind of a mess here. Sometimes people are having fun, but they start early, you know what I mean? And so I saw the green thing as kind of just like part of this party festival thing, but I also think it's kind of a tribute thing. And then I was thinking, well, what other colors should we color the river? Black, pink. There's all these different things. Anyway, so I was thinking about that. Hey, Kitty Hannah, it's good to see you. You need some distraction because you just dropped off your kittens at the vet to get neutered. It's for the best, but you feel so bad. Totally. I mean, you gotta do it, right? Because they're less comfortable if you don't. I mean, I don't know a lot about it, but I think that's true. Liz D, I think I refreshed the chat, and I think I missed a few people, but we'll catch up. Liz D, what did a green river taste like? It tasted like, it was just sweet. It's green syrup. Is it lime, you guys? Is it lime? Hey, Sohani, and Ivy Kadivy, and Karen, and Sandy Tries. I'm so glad you're here. Stitching Nani, oh my God, it's great to see you, Stitching Nani. Xoxo, I emailed your mom back, but I have a longer email coming to her. I'm so glad you're here, Xoxo, that's great. Let's see. Okay, you also see the shape. You saw the shape of the clover. I probably didn't have to do the whole photo thing, but I like Sandy. I try. Yeah, and you can see. Yeah, exactly. You can see through me. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and you can see right through me. I don't know. There's a joke there somewhere. Let's see. So, okay, kitties. Hey, Christine. Yes, you know that the Green River is super fun. No other city compares. It's really cool. And it's not like a gross green. It's like this jewel. It's this emerald green. It's amazing. 5Z says, I lived in a hippie commune at the Green River Gorge as a kid. Interesting. I knew you lived in a hippie commune, but I didn't know it was there. Yeah, it is cold and windy, but today is beautiful. You might be able to hear the birds singing outside the window. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to, catch up on anybody I missed as I go through the show. And please say hi if you haven't said hi yet. So a few announcements. This is how we do it. We kind of shoot the breeze, and we talk, we hang out. I'm going to get small so I can show you some things. Help, I'm small. Patchwork and Prose is coming up. It starts on Saturday. Let me just hide the chat for a second so you can see that whole lovely thing. Quilt Folk, producer of Quilt Folk magazine and workshops and products and fabulous content from Quilt Folk. And so we're doing our first block of the month, and it's called Patchwork and Prose, a bookish block of the month. And it's all based on, like, the theme is literature, and it's just going to be fabulous. And people are very excited, and I know a bunch of you have signed up. It starts this week, so, I'm promoting the thing, and so, after this week, you can still hop on the Block of the Month program, I'm sure, after it begins, but you should start at the beginning. So this Saturday is the welcome party at 12 Central, I believe. Go to quiltfolk.com to learn more about all of the program. And my mom's gonna be, she filmed a little video to play on Saturday. I'll be there live to do a little thing. So it's it's like a welcome thing. And then the actual program, the first block that you'll make will be next month. So it's gonna be great. P&W Ellen, I'm so glad you're here. This is great. Everybody's here. Not everybody, but a good number of you who, I love to see every time. So here's what I wanted to tell you, just to give you kind of like a sneak peek at what I'm going to be doing. Every month I'll drop into the workshop and do a presentation on some aspect of quilts and literature and so forth. And so I showed this last time, but I get excited about it. I am your librarian. That's a reference to that Outcast song, Lend Me Some Sugar. I am your neighbor. I was thinking about it the other day, and I was like, I am your librarian. So I'm kind of the librarian of the program, I guess. I just called myself that. And I have a content plan for every month. That's right. Look, May, okay? So some of the things I'm going to be doing, because I worked on this a lot yesterday. Children's books. I'm going to talk about children's books in June for summer reading, of course. We're gonna read, if you want to read along with me, Beloved by Toni Morrison. I mean, oh my God, quilts loom large in that book. And I've never read Beloved. I started it, I'll be honest, a while ago, last year, and I think I was at Mom's house, yeah. And I forgot to take it with me, which, that's lame, but I never picked it up. So I'm gonna read it. And that's in, what month is that? I think that's in the fall, because, like a great deep novel, like reading that, in October. It's gonna be great. Hey, Ian Hicks. Ivana, look at this. Ivana gets the nerd award for the moment. I mean, for the day, but I am not surprised. I will not be surprised if other people come in with some facts. Poetry Day in November, and we're going to start out next month with story quilts, because of course, right? And I've been reading about this stuff, and I wanted to share this with you. So this is a good book. I'm going to talk about it more shortly. I mean, in the next week or so. So I'm not going to go too far into it now. And I'll give you an affiliate link when I talk about it next. But there's some very interesting stuff in here, some quotes from books and things, and a poem that I'm going to share on Saturday. But one of the things that I found in here as I was researching, is a quote from Old Patchwork Quilts and the Women Who Made Them by Ruth Finley, which is classic quilt. It's like it's canonical in like the quilt, literature canon. I mean, it's like it's a history. It's one of the first histories of quilts that was published in kind of that formal way. And there's a lot of inaccuracies in it. There's a lot of stuff we've learned, and it's a very white take on everything. I mean, it's pretty limited in its view, but it's also really groundbreaking and amazing. So that's Ruth Finley. And here's a quote. So she wrote it in 1929, or it was published in 1929. I don't know if it's still in print, but it was in print for a very long time. And this is from page 95. Quote, "As the old-time quilter of average proficiency could accomplish above 5 yards of plain quilting an hour, 1,000 yards meant some 200 hours of work. In 1861, such work at $2 a quilt was worth a cent an hour." I'm going to read that again. So we're talking about in 1861, okay? Ruth Finley says, "As the old-time quilter of average proficiency could accomplish about 5 yards of plain quilting an hour, 1,000 yards meant some 200 hours of work. And in 1861, such work at $2 a quilt was worth a cent an hour." So that's fun. That's just. And then the last announcement. I have some other things to talk about as we go through the show, but I have one more little announcement. And I've already gotten. Let me hide myself here. I've already gotten. Oh, and I got to put the chat back up. Hang on. I've already gotten a lot of pictures from you all. I'm so glad. I see them coming in. Thank you for sending them. On New Year's Eve this past year, one of my favorite shows we've ever done. It was so much fun. We stayed on, it was like 3 hours. I just couldn't leave, and you couldn't either. It was good. It's like I threw a party and people came to it, which feels really good. I had you all send pictures of stuff that you had made over the year. Hey, Little Bird Stitch. Hey, Threadist. I don't know if I said hi to you. And thanks, Sonia. That's awesome. You all sent pictures in of things that you'd made over the year. Yeah, things that you really loved quilt-wise. And I showed them on the show. And it was part of the reason I thought the show was really great. And so we're going to do it again. And actually, you know what I'm going to do just for a second more. We're going to do it again, like once a quarter, actually. So 4 times a year we'll do this Quilt Nerd on Parade show. It'll be part of the show. It won't be the whole show. But it'll kick off the show on Tuesday, March 29th, which is a week from Tuesday. Yeah, it's not this coming Tuesday, but the week after. And you send your pictures and a brief description. Just tell me what I'm looking at. Show me what I'm working with. To my email for this show, which is twitch@maryfons.com. And yeah, do it by Monday, end of day, so that I have your stuff and I don't have to scramble like I did this morning. It's not fun. And then also I wanted to open it up to, if you have read a really great book this year, quilt related. I know you've all read probably a lot of great books, but we're going to keep it on brand. So you send me the books that you've read, perhaps like just take a picture of the cover of it. Tell me why you liked it. And yeah, that's what we're going to do, man. Or not this year, but just lately. Yeah, lately. And I'd love to know, so I can include that, because if you don't have a quilt, you should still be able to be part of this. You don't have to be a subscriber to be part of this. It's just, if you hang out with us, I want to know. No nudity. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, I couldn't help it. It just sounded kind of fun. I have to turn off this light because I think it's making a thing. Anyway, so that is the announcement. So here's the quilt. I show the quilt that I have behind me. That's how every show begins, after all this chit chat and business. The quilt behind me changes every show, and it's a way to kick things off and looking at the intro quilt, or having an intro quilt to look at, it's a good example of like what this show's about and what we do here, because what we do is we take quilts, and from there we learn about the whole world, and we learn about history, and we can learn about ourselves. But we can, and we do. Last show on Thursday night, that was pretty amazing, right? Reading that Jean Ray Laurie stuff, incredible. Hey, Dee Dee Brew Crew. And so that was really, really cool, and I feel like I learned something about myself. But we also learn about, art and design. This quilt is so cool, right? Pizza quilt. Yes! A pizza quilt. And we had a pizza quilt. We had a pizza quilt on this show. You remember? Was it New Year's Eve? I don't know. It was Oppenheimer. I think, wasn't it like Judy Oppenheimer who made it? Anyway, but this is also a pizza quilt, and I am very, very glad that you pointed that out. And it even has like pizza sauce kind of colors, doesn't it? So hang on. I dropped my thing, of course. Here it is. It's a pizza quilt. So yeah, so we start out this way with a quilt, and then we dive into the content that I've prepared for you. And it's not a presentation. It's just me exploring these things with you, gathering a bunch of content together, and then looking at it with you. Because I research while I do that. I learn really cool stuff, and we get to hang out. It's pretty simple. So this quilt I found in this book, okay? So I was looking for the literature stuff, and then I found this, and I was like, oh yeah, this is a great quilt for the intro. So let me get... Oh wait, no, I'm wrong. This quilt is from this. Plain and Fancy. There is another intro quilt in there, but it's not this one. This one comes from this, okay? So let's take a look at the whole thing again, so you can get a sense of that. And if you want to purchase this book, I have a link for you. The link will be live after the show, so you can go to quiltnerd.link. Plain and Fancy. So that will take you to AbeBooks, and you can buy this book through AbeBooks, because all the books that we like that I talk about are out of print. And so, if you could buy it from the author, obviously I would send you there, but these books are out of print. So you can buy them used and support an independent bookshop. And if you buy it through that link after the show, it'll be live after the show, then, I make a little scratch. Everything helps, every little bit. So this book is by Richard L. Cleveland and Donna Bister. And I don't know Donna Bister. I probably should. But I do know that Richard Cleveland is the founder of the Vermont Quilt Festival, which is the oldest quilt festival in the country. And it came up last time, I think. The last show, maybe. But it came up recently, and they're not having it this year. And I don't believe they had it last year. So if they have it in 2023, I think we should all go. You know what? It's a good idea. We should all go to the Vermont Quilt Festival. Richard Cleveland is awesome. I met him for a Quilt Folk Story when we did Vermont in issue 10, and it was great. It was really great. He's a very interesting guy, and he did an amazing thing. So this book is written by him and Donna Bister. And by the way, Liz D did the calculations for that quote I read to you from Ruth Finley's book about how much a woman would make doing quilting professionally in 1861. And Liz says, the inflation calculator says that in today's money, she would have made 32 cents an hour. It's hard. It's tough. It's not good. Yeah, that's really... The Ruth Finley book is one of the things we'll look at in the Patchwork and Prose Block of the Month program, so that's cool. So here is what we know about this quilt, and this is from Plain and Fancy, okay? And if you saw signatures on it, hey Ivy, I think I said hi to you. You'd go to Vermont. I would too. I've never been to the actual show, and it'd be really fun to meet people there. And since it's on the East Coast, people kind of in that area could maybe make it happen, especially if we knew we were going and you could plan for it and all that. Anyway, here's what we know about this quilt from Richard Cleveland and Donna Bister. This book was published in... Oh, it's signed. It's signed by both of them. 1991. And the subtitle is Vermont's People and Their Quilts as a Reflection of America. Pretty cool. Okay, Christine, you'll go. All right. We have a plan underway. Maybe we could work on the Quilt Nerd quilt while we're there. So Richard and Donna say... It starts with a 4-line poem. Quote, if while on the earth we have to part and move to far off distant lands, if friendship has entwined the heart, distance can never break the bands. So wrote William C. Richardson on his block for this album quilt, believed to have been made for a Randolph schoolteacher in 1856, perhaps on the occasion of her marriage. We know that her name was Elizabeth. 2 inscriptions mention Dear Lizzie. That she was a teacher. Several signatures are prefaced by your pupil. And we know that she was leaving the area. Numerous references to distance, partings, and adieus are made. But where did she go? Was she part of the great westward migration of Vermonters in the mid-19th century? Or was she moving a shorter distance to set up housekeeping as a newlywed near her husband's family? Was she sad to go, or did she relish the adventure? When she got there, was her life all she had hoped for? All we know is that Lizzie's quilt top, never quilted, appeared more than 100 years later in an old barn in North Brookfield, Massachusetts. The barn belonged to the sons of J.R. Southworth, one of the signers of Lizzie's top. How her quilt came to be there, and whatever happened to Lizzie, remains topics for speculation. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I like this quilt a lot. It's very, it's unusual because, the pizza thing you don't see a lot of triangles turned that particular way. And it's really good because it gives you a lot of room to write, even though most people only sign their names. I mean, were they using what were they using to sign that? I mean, if I say quill pen and I'm really wrong, I'm going to feel pretty silly. But it was, and it was made, between 1856 and 1860. And it's 58 by 66 inches. And it's in the collection of the Randolph Historical Society in Randolph, Vermont. So, I mean, what kind of pens were people using? I mean, what kind of writing instruments were people using in the mid-1800s? I don't know. Well, the Brontes were using quill pens, I happen to know. So there's that. Hey, so on positive. Did Lizzie ever get the topper? You know what? That's a good question. I mean, she must not have, because it was in the barn of one of the signers, you know? Or maybe, I mean, we don't know. Maybe she passed away. Maybe she was like, I don't want that. Okay. She was like, it's just not my style. I don't know. Maybe not. I doubt that is the case. Okay. So today's show is there's a quilt maker that we're going to talk about that I didn't know about, and she's really interesting. And I found her through looking at, oh no, wait a minute, the magazine that I got the information from is green. I mean, it's green. Maybe it'll look black. Oh, I know. If I hold it up here, you can see it. If I hold it against the black. Look, American Quilter, 1986. It almost works. But it's a green, it's green. The border is green, which is, you know, pretty weird. It's a coincidence. So I found this, I was looking through it the other day. It's a good magazine. The American Quilter, it's beautiful. Like the paper is thick and glossy, and it looks really good. And it's published exclusively for the members of the American Quilter Society. And I have a bunch of old issues because I just think it's a great magazine. I mean, it's really well done. But I don't know how long they published this. Does anybody know if it's still being made? Do you know? I mean, the American Quilt Society, AQS, is definitely going strong, but I don't know about the magazine or what they're publishing. So I was looking at it, and I found this article. Okay. So, oh my God, that's your mom's magazine. So APQS, that's what it is. It's APQS. xoxo's mom is Ann Hamill, one of the greatest editors of the quilt industry, you know, like ever. She's a Bonnie Lehman, Marianne Fons, like, legend. I mean, really, it's really true. She's been working as an editor in this world, like helping to create the world that we all inhabit, you know, for a long time. And I have asked her advice several times when I felt crushing defeat, or when I was unsure about something. I mean, xoxo, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if like I mean, a mentor is somebody you probably talk to like frequently, you know. Yeah, I think a mentor is somebody who's pretty close, you know, in the inner circle, right? And I don't think it's fair for me to call your mom a mentor, but your mom has been makes me want to cry. Your mom has been amazing. Whenever I've needed to ask her something, and she's always been really generous with her time, and she sent me an email, and I sent her one back to say I have a longer email coming, which I do. And it's like my mom was an editor, but it's my mom, you know, so I can't it's a different thing to talk to your mom about it. So Ann Hamill, everybody subscribe to APQS, and thank you, because that's important to know that this turned into APQS. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I don't know, APQS threw me off. Hey Grover, Ann, it's Ann Hamill in the chat. Oh my God. We play Dusty Springfield rarely. It's for very special moments. And so you heard me say all that. I hope you heard me say all that. And then I looked down, and it's you. Oh man. AQS. Okay. Well, yeah, I love you a lot, and I mean, yeah, you know, I just said everything. I said it all. You know, said it all. And Snarky Sewist, I'm so glad that you're here too. And yeah, welcome baskets in the chat for everybody. And Anne, I hope you enjoy the show. Oh God, it's been an interesting one. For my part. Anyway, so I'm looking back at this magazine and learned about Randy Frost. And the first thing that I read, let me pull up her stuff here. The first thing, what caught my eye about it was, well, I love this quilt. First of all, it's beautiful. We'll take a look. This is a contemporary one. This was made in 2015. It's called Rocky Trail. It's 38 by 27 inches. And so I grabbed pictures of her work lately, recent work. But it caught my eye because there's a pull quote at the top. And I took a picture of the magazine spread for you to see. Look, it says up at the top. Oh, wait, hold on. It's the next one. Hang on. It's this one. Yeah. She says, I picked up every sleazy, disgusting thing I could find, and I used them all. And I think that's first of all, it's a great pull quote. Who was editing this magazine at the time? That's what I want to know. Who was it? Anne, you might know. Okay, here we go. Well, Meredith. Oh, well, no, Meredith was the executive editor. Okay, Marty Brown, Mary Lou Schwinn, managing editor Lynn Lloyd. But yeah, Bill's the publisher, executive editor Meredith. Anyway, so I liked that a lot. I was like, I want to know more about Randy Frost. So we're gonna do that. And what I'm reading from is this magazine. Hang on, is this article from 1986. So part of the dash this morning was getting things together, and I would have scanned the whole thing, but I ran out of time. I did yesterday, though, scan this picture of her studio, which I love. God, I mean, that like split level thing, I love it. Hey, Pam Burrito. Yeah, exactly. QB Terra, hi. It's good to see you too. I'm glad you're here. So yeah, before your time, totally. That's a welcome basket for everybody who's here. So let's go back to this quilt. So this is Randy talking about her work in 1986, but here's a little bit about what she, about her right now. I just want to say that this is from a show that she had at the Blue Door Art Center. And by the way, I need to, tag people when I talk about them on the show. I mean, it's just one of those things that I need someone else to help me. I need I think I've asked you all. If you know Randy, let her know that we're just enjoying her work today. So she said this from an exhibit. It's a statement from an exhibit that was done with her work, Blue Door Art Center, a few years back. Quote, my work in graphic design and painting, plus a lifetime of drawing and stitching, inform the shape and content of my quilts. The imagery is abstract, influenced by a love of plant life, landscape, and a full range of color. I enjoy working in a series, currently the concept of journeys, broadly interpreted. Okay, so there's one, and I'm going to go back to this quilt because I really love it. I really, really love it. The pink, sort of that hot pink at the top, I mean, it's that's really beautiful. And it's hand-dyed. Much of the fabrics are hand-dyed. I love that. Little Bird Stitch says, this is fabulous. It feels a little bit like an earthquake. That is really great. That is a very, very good way to describe it. This one, I just want to explain kind of what you're going to be seeing while I read. This is a work, it's called Renewal number 3, Renewal. And this is from a series. So she talked about doing, liking, the series as a way to work. And she says this, Renewal is part of a series of quilts that came into being after successful breast cancer treatment. Then a surprise artistic block followed. After that ended, a new series of images emerged, which were welcome on many levels. The series continues. And Renewal 3, this one I found on the website of the Textile Study Group of New York. So I wrote that down on my notes because I want to know more about that too. So that's where this picture came from. And the pictures that you'll see, they came from the internet. I think there was one I found on Pinterest. And where else did I find things? Anyway, around, you know how it is. So let's go here again, just because I love hanging out in her space in the 80s. And that's what I'll be reading from. And then we'll look at her work. Okay, Randy Frost. And the article is by, what? I don't think there's not a byline. Maybe there is in the front. box there in the front. No byline. Okay, cool. Well, we don't know who wrote it, but it was somebody at the magazine. Okay, so Randy Frost, quilting her art. Look at this down here, this table. Let me hide myself. You can see her work. Oh, Padma, yeah, totally. You're like, earthquakes, no! Hey, Prairie Susie. This is great, this table down here, right? Oh, the age, I mean, people were full into rotary cutters, right, at this point, right? Is that true, 1986? Of course, but I don't know, I'd want to confirm it. All right. Here we go. Oh, so you've given up your painting and your art. When Randy Frost of Bronxville, New York, switched from painter, graphic designer, and collage artist to quilting, she had a hard time convincing people that she was not compromising her artistic integrity. Now, as a devoted quilt artist, she feels she has an educational job, for she believes, quotes, quilt are meant to be seen as paintings. What? That's wild. That's crazy. Yeah, exactly, Anne. Oh my God. Exactly. The editor pinch hit, right, and wrote it. Totally. And this would have been one of the earliest American quilter magazines. Oh, you know what? It says, yeah, volume 2, number 2 for this issue. Volume 2, number 2. That is early. Was it quarterly? I don't know. For almost 20 years after graduating from the Rhode Island School of Design, interesting, in graphic design, went to RISD. Denise Schmidt went to RISD. Many other quilt makers that you love did. I think I know a few that I can't think of right now. Randy Frost had painted, worked in commercial art, and done freelancing, paper collages, and drawings. Needlework. Let me just scoot this over just a little bit. Okay. Needlework and creative stitchery were a hobby since childhood and were always part of her life. Near the end of the 70s, she experienced the equivalent to writer's block, she says, with her paintings, and could only concentrate on her collages. Yeah, exactly. You can see the painter in this quilter. Look at all those, the frayed edges. I love that. I think that's really beautiful. In 1980, Randy interviewed Susan Hoffman. Oh my God! You guys, Susan Hoffman! We learn things. We learn things here, and do you feel yourself getting more nerdy about quilts? Do you feel it? I mean, because it's really happening. Susan Hoffman, Molly Upton, here we go. In 1980, Randy interviewed Susan Hoffman, a contemporary quilt artist, in her Washington Square apartment for an article for Needle Arts magazine, a publication of the Embroiderers Guild of America. Needle Arts, is that the Needle Arts that's been around that was around forever? Got to look at those old covers of Needle Arts magazine. I don't know if it's the same one, but I just saw some of those covers the other day. They're amazing, like from the 20s and 30s. Miss Hoffman was a very private but articulate person. Quote, I halfway convinced Susan that I was an artist and understood what she was doing. When I saw the way she worked, I was absolutely flabbergasted. Why haven't I been doing this, I thought. Oh, come on now. Oh, look at that. That looks like a corset somehow. Reminds you of kimonos. Mm-hmm. Hey, Holmes. Holmes says, I can't wait to trade in graphic design for quilting. Yeah, because we know you're a graphic designer for your work, right? I mean, I can keep track of some folks' professions. Yvonne, did I say Heidi, by the way? I don't know. I think I did. I know what you do because you're an embalmist, an undertaker. I'm not sure which you prefer, but that's one you can remember. It's amazing. I used some of the honey that you sent me this morning in my tea, literally. Okay. For the first time, Randy says, the relationship between my lifelong interest in sewing, creative stitchery, painting, and collage became evident to me. Now I use everything from my graphic design and painting years for my quilting. I've incorporated it all. Quilting brought together things from my entire life. Creatively, I now feel like a whole person. Wow, unquote. At this point in her life, and remember this was in 1986, and totally committed to quilt making, Randy cheerfully points to her first quilt, which is still on her bed. Acknowledging that attending workshops has been extremely beneficial to her, she says it's the methodology that's so important. The success of her Brookfield series, 4 quilts completed in 1982, she attributes to Nancy Crow, who conducted a workshop at the Brookfield Craft Center in Connecticut. Is this? Yes. Okay, I'll show you these. Randy describes Nancy as an exciting teacher who sets you free. So these are the quilts that she's talking about. Again, like, sorry, they're not like beautifully scanned. Although I have to say the color is not like, is my mom in the chat? Mom? Mom. My mom's here. Thanks for coming, Mom. We're talking about, look at this. Look. We're reading Ann Hamill. Mom, Ann Hamill's watching the show, and her daughter. I just had deja vu. Okay. So, so these are the Brookfield. Let me move this over a little bit. These are the Brookfield quilts that she's talking about, that she made with Nancy Crow. Or that she made in a workshop with Nancy Crow, right? Isn't that right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or she attributes these to Nancy Crow. Yeah, like I said, the color in this scan is not great, but it's not that much better in the I mean, it's fine. It gives you an idea of what's going on. Okay. She's also rocking pretty amazing quilted jackets. It's called New Year's Day. I'm gonna have to remember that. New Year's Day, because I'm gathering things for the next New Year's show. Mom, how are you? How's it going? Okay, yeah, and Holmes has been doing graphic design for 20 years. Girl, New Year's Day, Randy Frost. Okay, cool. I like that. It's got like puff sleeves, you know? Cool. I like that a lot. Okay, let's continue. This I found, it's a Sakwa trunk show that happened in 2017. And I don't know if this is it's called Release, this piece. I think this is the full piece. It might be a detail shot though. I'm not totally sure. Look how she used that print, you know? The way the print curves around, and she used that like gesture to continue, like she continued the gesture. I think it's really great. Mom's doing great, revising and editing your writing project for hours a day. You love the works I'm showing. That's great. Me too. I think they're really cool. So now when she approaches a quilt, Randy sees it in much the same way as a painting, with the surface being treated, quote unquote, all over. One word, all over. Design-wise, she is not influenced by anyone. In trying to eliminate the grid, she will develop a block which she likes, and by turning and pivoting the same block, will develop a design. She says, quote, the possibilities of repeating a pattern and the certain optical illusions that are created the minute you connect one block to another are fascinating. So this is not a block-based quilt, but maybe it is. I don't know, because this one's from 2017, or of that time period, and she's speaking now in 1986. But look at this one. Oh, wait, did I do that one? Yeah, I did that one. Hold on. Okay, this one, yeah. Wow. That's like shibori, you know, or tie-dye. It does. Robin's Nest says it looks like looking through a gnarly tree in the forest. 1,000%. I love it. This is good. Within her artistic background, she acknowledges a debt to Jackson Pollock, totally, completely, in whose work the paint itself becomes the subject of the painting. I mean, look at this moment right here. Very Pollockian. Through Hans Hoffman, the artist, and Kenneth Jacobs, interesting, her painting teacher, she has developed a purely abstract approach to painting and color. They have taught her to see things spatially, which is so important in quilt making. 1,000%. After the determination of the design, the palette, which consists of piles of fabric, is laid out. Then the fun begins. Okay. She enjoys doing her own hand quilting and the flexibility that it allows in the design. As I embark on the final aspect of a quilt, she says, the whole design is often not yet clear in my mind. A little bit more here. It's pretty interesting to hear her speak about her practice like then and see it. I mean, I feel like we can see it evolve, but it's also she's like still stayed true to what she was doing. It feels like this painterly approach, right? She says there seem to be endless choices. Okay, so this particular quilt, Charcoal and Flames 2, which that's not what you're looking at. You're looking at a quilt called Aftermath 1. I see flowers in that. Do you see flowers? Hey, Karen. I'm not getting much done, said Karen. These pics are enchanting. Yeah, earthquakes, enchanting. You all are very, very cool and articulate, and I love the way you talk about quilts. So she says about this one quilt back in the day, she received an announcement for a competition in Maryland for the use of non-traditional fabrics. The general idea was to break away from the traditional use of cottons and calicos. So, Randy says, quote, I went to a Ben Franklin store. Mom, we have one in our hometown in Winterset, Iowa. We still do. There's still a Ben Franklin. Sorry. She says, I went to a Ben Franklin store, and at a remnant table, I picked up every sleazy, disgusting thing I could find. Ripstop nylon, corduroy, velour, silk, felt, every fake thing, and some nice taffetas and velveteens, and I used them all. Many times the colors of the quilt are predetermined by the idea of the quilt, she says. Randy's first commission piece, quote, just happened through someone she knew. Contacts are important. My first client was so nice, but she was building a house in the Blue Ridge Mountains and needed one wooden log wall needed a quilt, unquote. The client loved the blues, pinks, and reds of the mountains, and the use of these colors was natural for Randy, as she too clearly remembered the gray blues and pinks of the Blue Ridge Mountains. Another woman had seen Randy's quilts at a church fair. Hang on, a few more. This one's great. This one's called Reaching Out. It's a little bit earlier than some of the works that you saw at the top of the segment. This other woman brought Randy 2 gallery reproduction copies of a painting of the Grand Canyon, which she had seen in Colorado. She hadn't bought the painting. She hadn't bought the painting, and subsequently it had been sold. Using many of the same colors, Randy designed a quilt called Grand Canyon to fit inside a doorway in the client's home. The quilt is exactly 48 by 58, and the doorway has become the frame. Oh, that's so great. The doorway has become the frame. I love it. Okay, so back. Okay. Pricing's not easy, and Randy felt she had to come up with a base price for materials and a per square foot charge. This is interesting. People are often asking about pricing quilts, and like it's interesting to hear it in '86, right? Pricing is not easy, and Randy felt she had to come up with a base price for materials and a per square foot charge. Yeah, so for the first commission, she kept a strict log of her time and materials. From that, she developed her fee structure, which she translates into a unit quote for the client. We talked about pricing earlier. We talked about that earlier, pricing. That's two. That's 2 huge ones. It's 2 huge ones. Hey, Scaredy Turtle. First time chat. Let's get some welcome baskets in the chat for First Time Turtle. Thank you so much for coming. And yeah, wall quilts. The comment that Scaredy Turtle made was, are wall quilts still a thing? Maybe they should make a comeback like macrame. Wall quilts are 1000% a thing. And macrame. Yeah, we talked about macrame the other night, how it's coming back. I haven't investigated macrame yet. There's a lot going on, but I plan to. Yeah, wall quilts, man. And I really think like commissioning your favorite quilt maker, if you can afford him or her, to make you a quilt for a door, like a particular door in your home, that sounds really great. That's a great idea. This piece is called Running Wild, by the way. It's a contemporary. She's made it within the past decade. But let's see. Okay. And then the end of this article here, all of this commitment to quilt making was reinforced when Randy and her husband, architect A. Corwin Frost, decided on a studio study addition. Oh, wait, hold on. That's the last thing. A studio study addition to their 19th century home in the Lawrence Park section of Bronxville. Bronxville. But built as an artist colony in the late 1800s, the area is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. This is the thing, the full picture. Although many of the homes have studios, the Frost was the first new studio built in 75 years. The resulting studio accommodates Corwin's woodworking hobby, Randy's need for wall space, and above and beyond that, plentiful office space for both. The room soars to the cupola center. You can kind of see the cupola center, with 2 walls of great plate glass windows, a 3rd wall of clerestory windows. What are clerestory windows? And lighting on a great square ringing above. The feeling of spaciousness and light is everywhere. This entire addition integrates nicely with the family's living space. When Randy and Corwin are working, the children can easily talk with them, allowing Randy to be with her family while pursuing her career. That's Randy Frost. Except that it's not. There's something else about her. High windows. Yeah, okay, Liz D, that makes sense. Okay, M. Hicks, thank you. So Randy doesn't have a social media presence. Thank you. But she is a member of the Manhattan Quilters Guild. Yeah, and... Yeah, exactly. I read that somewhere, and then there's this other person we're about to look at, sort of tangentially, who was the former NYC Metro Modern Quilt Guild vice president. Anyway, okay. So the other thing about Randy Frost, I mean, unless is this the same person? It can't be. No. Okay. Okay. Look, when I look for things and I'm trying to find stuff about quilt makers, I don't rule anything out because often, we're always pretty interesting people. And so sometimes there's stuff that surprises me. So this is not, it just cannot be the same person. This is Randy O. Frost, okay, who wrote a book about compulsive hoarding and the meaning of things. It's not our girl. It's just not. Unless it is. Can someone just fact check that for me? Because I was like, I need to include this just in case. I don't think that's Randy. I don't think that's the person we've just been looking at. I mean, is this person the same person who made this work of art? I don't know. I mean, sometimes fabric people, they hoard. We hoard. This is the quilt we started with, which, I don't know, I think it's my favorite. It's so good. And it's called Rocky Trail, made in 2015. All right, so that's Randy. Now, Mom, you better still be here. You better still be here because check this out. You know what else was in this magazine? God. I am so excited that you're here today because of this. I really hope that the internet up there is good enough. Half Dome. Robin's Nest. Half Dome. I can't think of who that or what that is. You can put a link in the chat if you... Yeah, Half Dome. I'm not sure. Okay. Randy O. Frost, author, is a man. Okay, good. So that is the... Randy Frost, the quilter, did not make a book about hoarding. Okay. So this is my mom in 1986. And that's Liz Porter in 1986. I mean, talk about a gift. I was definitely not looking for old articles or ads about Mom and Liz, but they were doing their thing in 86, so here they are. So, blooming baskets with fashion flair. Oh, Granite Dome in Yosemite. Okay. Nice. That makes sense. They wrote this. Okay. Well, I'm just going to read the first paragraph because it's like a pattern. It's patterns for those rockin' vests that they're wearing. The pie crust collar. Oh my God, exactly. Pie crust. That's exactly what it is. Wow. Okay. So Mom and Liz write, weaving and appliquing folded strips of fabric to create basket motifs. I actually love Liz's hair. Can I just say that I do? I do. I love it. I think it's awesome. It's very hipster, at this point. I think it's great. So this is the perfect technique, they say, for embellishing clothing. We became interested in woven applique while doing research for our publication, Classic Basket Patterns. Yours truly, publishing 1984. We were particularly... Hey, Marianne. Oh, it's you. Marianne, you said the pie crust collar. I thought it was my mom. But it's you. Hey, Marianne. I kind of miss London today. Okay. We were particularly attracted to the beautiful Baltimore album quilts of the mid-19th century, which are sprinkled with baskets and urns. So here's the woven applique she's talking about. Baskets and urns made from narrow strips of fabric. We realized after producing several woven projects for our book that we had only begun to explore the possibilities of woven applique. And here in this picture, Liz Porter and Marianne Fons model their basket motifs. Pretty cute. Oh yeah, there's more woven stuff on mom's thing. Those were the days. These outfits, I like them. I do. I mean, this drop waist thing mom has going on would not work, but the puffy shirts for sure. I'm into it. Blooming baskets with fashion flair. Okay, so that's what that is. So in fact, we're gonna go into the past, further into the past. Now, my Instagram, I told you there was a programming note today. My Instagram posted we were going to look at Pauline Parker, but I mentioned to you that this morning I was like running around. I mean, really running around to get this thing together. I don't like that black behind me. I'm going to go back to this. To get this show together, and the reason that it was kind of wild is because my Pauline Parker segment, I thought I had a really nice folder full of her stuff because I really like her work, and we will definitely talk about Pauline Parker and her quilts, which are so amazing, on a future show. But I had looked at her work, over a year ago, and was super into it because the Milwaukee Art Museum, is it 2 years ago now? Something like that. But the Milwaukee Art Museum did a huge exhibit of her stuff, and I was going to go to it, but COVID happened, and I didn't go. I'm pretty sure that's why. Anyway, I didn't make it there, but I became sort of obsessed with her work. I thought I had a huge folder full of really good quality images of her stuff, but when I looked in there, there was very little, and what I had was pretty low quality, and I don't want to give you low-res pictures on the show because we like to zoom in, we like to look at things, analyze stuff. So I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? And I decided to go with this to take a look at a different exhibit that happened in 2013 at the Brooklyn Museum, and it was called Worked by Hand. Worked by Hand, Hidden Labor and Historical Quilts, okay? Worked by Hand, Hidden Labor and Historical Quilts. And I'm going to read to you from this resource, but the show was Worked by Hand, W-O-R-K-T. W-O-R-K-T. Dee Dee, okay, good. So Dee Dee says, your Instagram posts have been excellent, Mary. I'm really glad to hear that. Since not multi-streaming to YouTube and I've hit sort of the moment with the Twitch, with growing the audience, where what I'm doing, the different Instagram posts, what I'm doing differently is giving people a taste of what's on the show, and hopefully that'll help explain what this is, because it's completely new and Twitch is new for everybody. So I'm glad thank you for saying that, because I need to figure out, hey, Elle Riggs, girl, you're not late, you're right on time. So I want to to do something different, right? Try to come up with something different, because since I stopped doing the YouTube thing, the numbers have sort of leveled off. And if it's only the OG people forever, I tell you all the time I love doing this. Hey, Marianne, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I just moved the little alert box over so I can make sure to see all of it. Thank you for subscribing at Tier 1. You subscribed for 6 months. I appreciate you very much. Everybody who subscribes, thank you. And Marianne's an hour late. Daylight savings time kicks in on a different date in the UK. That's true. Eric's there for like 2 more days, and he reminded me of that too. That's right. Thank you, Marianne, for being here. I just need to figure out what to do to help grow the show, promote the show. I'm not very good at it. I'm not very good at that stuff. Well, yeah, but I'm not supposed to say that. I was thinking about how I can name off the top of my head three quilt people, like major quilt people. You know what I mean by that? Like whose husbands quit their job to help like grow their wife's quilt business or their partner's quilt business. I bet you can name some too. Jenny Doan, Vanessa Vargas Wilson, and Edita Sitar. Those are just off the top of my head. I am sure that there are many others you might know. This is the Brooklyn Museum, by the way. People whose husbands were like, "Baby, you need some help. I'm gonna go for it." And I gotta tell you, now Eric's job is a good job, so I don't want him. If Eric, you're still here, don't quit yet, please. But you know, it's tough because doing all the stuff that I need to do, I mean, it's just gonna take forever if it's only me. And you all help me, my mods help me, thank you mods, and having the Discord is great, and people are willing to help. But I'm new at it too, so I don't even know what to do first. But Eric sees me freak out, and he sees me doing all this stuff, and he's really good at different things. And he's also good at just asking people to do things very simply. Instead of, in my case, I'm like, "Thank you so much. That would be great. I want you to know how much I appreciate you." And then I don't actually get to, I don't know. He's a simple, clear, direct person. I don't know what I am, but I'm not as good at that stuff. So he could help me, he could if he was working with me full time, forget about it. Oh my God, it'd be crazy. Alex Anderson, exactly. So let's go to this exhibit in 2013, because there's just some amazing quilts. And the angle that they have, this is the Brooklyn Museum, by the way. Have you been there? I have not been there. Looks incredible. The angle that they had on this exhibit is really interesting. So I pulled images from it from various places, including a blog. So I want to give a huge shout out to this woman who does have an Instagram page and a blog, and I'm going to give you her name. Some of you might know her. She seems to be out there and doing stuff. Chris Dodsley. Her Instagram handle, I'm going to put it in here, is chrisdodsley.com. That's her Instagram. And I really want you to follow her, please, on Instagram. That would be great. And I'm going to put the URL for her blog in here too. Marianne says Janet Clare in the UK calls her husband chief in charge of everything. 1,000. Oh God, I love that. God, if I could just be like, "Eric, do this." And then he would probably do it. But then he would be like, "Mary, we should do this." And I would be like, "Yes." And then he would do it. Because I got to make the content. That's what it's all about, man. That's what I'm good at. Tula Pink, and yes, Tula Pink works with her mom and her brother. That's so right, Karen. Oh, and Ann Hamill, Judy Madsen. I mean, we have like 6 examples at this moment, but I feel like there's even more. So Hani has been to the Brooklyn Museum often, and this photo is of the event space. Oh, it's really pretty. It's really, really pretty. Yeah, I haven't been in Brooklyn in a long time. So okay, did I give you the I don't think I gave you her blog yet. Made by, did I? Well, I'm going to give it to you again. And if my mods wouldn't mind, as I go through this little segment here, the second half of the show, will you please just cut and paste her Instagram? I'm going to do the Instagram handle again, just from time to time, because I really want to make sure people are, that you understand that, I got these pictures from her blog, and it's just really, really appreciated, because she took amazing pictures of this exhibit, better than anything I found. Better detail shots, than I found online. So she's awesome. She gets a big thumbs up and a thank you. So here's the angle on this thing. So worked by hand, hidden labor, and historical quilts. Padma, we did work with Tula. Her leading a workshop would be great. We did work with her for a pattern when we did a short series of patterns, and we did something with her. I don't know, Tula doesn't do much with other people. Like, she is such a force of nature that she kind of doesn't have to. And we're pals, and she's super into, she cool folks, like, she's like all about it and everything, but I don't know that she does too much of that, especially these days. I don't know. I need to text Tula Pink and say hello, because she had a controversy too years ago with a fabric line. I was wondering about that vis-a-vis the whole quilt clothes video. Okay, so about the exhibition, this comes from this study guide that I got from the website. Worked by hand, hidden labor, and historical quilts features quilt masterpieces from the Brooklyn Museum's collection that exemplify the most iconic designs and techniques from the past 2 centuries of quilt making. The exhibition examines how feminist scholarship has influenced the interpretation of historical quilts, exploring issues of anonymity, authorship, and collective production, as well as the historical choice to classify quilts under the heading of craft rather than art. The line between those categories began to blur in the mid-20th century when museums started to exhibit quilts as abstract art. This shift is explored by presenting quilts in this exhibition both vertically, as they are now frequently shown in museums and galleries, and horizontally, as they would appear on the beds for which they were often originally designed. So, some of the pictures of the exhibit, taken by Chris Dodsley, right? Not Dodson. She shows the Chris Dodsley. She shows the exhibit, and you can see how they did it. But just so you can kind of imagine, that's how it would have looked, on a bed if you came, to your bed to lie down on it, right? I mean, we hang it on the wall like that. And of course, if you're walking up to your bed from, the southern end, you're gonna see it. You're gonna see it like that. But it's really interesting, this turning, and the feminist angle is really interesting too. Okay. So see, this is from Chris's blog. It's just a great detail shot of that quilt. I mean, look, we couldn't tell in the picture from the Brooklyn Museum that that's trapunto, that's stuffed work with the birds, right? You have the pattern she did with Quilt Folk Bib. It's really cute. It's a great quilt. I need to text Tula Pink, something you'll never say. Yeah, I mean, it's been a minute, but it's time. Sue has a dedicated space for Tula's fabric. Love it. You are not alone. Okay. Yeah, this is great too. I don't know if this is stuffed or not, but it seems like it might be. So the title, so the question here that they ask is, why is this exhibition in the Elizabeth Sackler Center for Feminist Art? Because that's where it was hanging. Okay, here's the quote that we just saw. It's not stuffed. The title for the exhibition helps us answer this question. Why is this exhibition exhibited in a feminist gallery? Worked, W-O-R-K-T, is an archaic spelling of worked, W-O-R-K-E-D. And the phrase worked by hand indicates the distinctive and personal nature of an object produced by a skilled craftsperson. Hidden labor refers to the enormous amount of creativity. Look at the stains up here, so great. Refers to the enormous amount of creative energy the women put into their quilts, which went unrecognized by an economic system that attributed more value to men's individual creative activities. Quilting has traditionally, I'm going to go over it so you can see this amazing, rope border. What do we call that? That has a name, right? The in the blue. Why can't I think of what it's called? I mean, it looks rope-like, but there's a name for it, isn't there? Cord? I forget. Yeah, okay, we made the same sound. I'm not surprised. Oh, look at this is wonderful. These little stars, 6-pointed star quilting is great. Quilting has traditionally been considered a women's medium. Historically, women sewed on their own or gathered together for cable pattern. Thank you, Robin and Marianne. Thank you. Gathered together for communal quilting bees and to create collective designs. These gatherings still happen today and provide groups with the chance not only to share their skills, but to share stories of their lives. Gatherings such as quilting bees have provided the opportunity. Look at this. Oh, great. This is from Chris. Nice detail shot of this too. Gatherings such as quilting bees have provided the opportunity for women to leave their homes and to socialize with other women. In contexts, hey, I'm Sujan. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. We have a giveaway coming up when we hit 200 subscribers too. I'll tell you about that later. Let's see. Yeah, gatherings such as quilting bees have provided the opportunity for women to leave their homes and to socialize with other women. In contexts where women were not likely to hold the status of professional artists, quilting was an opportunity for creative and visual expression. In some communities, men have also been identified as quilters, but the female tradition is more widely recognized. In the mid-20th century, museums started exhibiting quilts as art rather than artifacts. They were displayed on walls as unattributed works with minimal historical context, meant to be considered in relation to the work of the mostly male abstract artists popular at the time. Many feminists of the era spoke out to make sure that women quilters remained part of the conversation about their work. Feminist interest in quilts has led to extensive research into the lives of quilters, quilters, the diversity of quilting traditions, and symbolic roles. This is how it was shown in the exhibition at an angle. Probably because it was heavy. It's heavy. Sometimes when quilts are displayed like this, it's because hanging them straight up and down or on the wall would damage the quilt because it's delicate. And when you think about crazy quilts too, like a lot of them, they flake. They've got silk in them, and so they kind of can crumble and fall apart. This is a great detail of this. Just as important, feminist scholars began to examine the way categories such as fine art, craft, or historical artifact affect how society values and responds to quilts and quiltmakers. Presenting the Brooklyn Museum's collection of quilts in the Sackler Center for Feminist Art allows us to engage in this debate and to use historical documents, photographs, and publications to examine how people have approached and appreciated quilts over the past 150 years. Have you all made a tumbling blocks quilt? Wow, look at that border. Oh my God. Have you made one? Yeah, exactly. I haven't. I don't know. Like, how does it go together? Actually. I almost think hand piecing would be a good idea. Setting it in with a hand piecing might actually, but how does it go together? Lots of Y seams, right. Yvonne, are you saying yes to that? Yes, that it's a pretty quilt, or yes, that hand piecing would be better? Okay, oh no, that you did a quilt, right, that you made one of these. You'll post a picture you made it. You post a picture you made it for your niece for her 10th birthday. That's great. That I would love to see it. Dee Marie, hi Dee Marie. Very similar to your 6-point stars quilt. Okay. Yeah, that one that is being shipped from London. Stephanie Cake says, or English paper piecing. Okay. Dee Marie would hand piece. Marianne says Jenny Doan has a non-Y seam method. Awesome. I am not surprised. Okay. Oh, hey, come back. What are you doing? This one is a log cabin quilt, obviously. One of the things that I loved from what Chris Dodson had on her blog was she took a picture of one of the cards that was on the wall, which is it's so valuable. This is a great, I mean, you know, log cabins, you see them a lot. They are, I think there's a good detail shot next. Okay. You see them a lot, you know, this is a sunshine and shadow. Why is it doing that? But it's still like, it's just so good. They don't really get, I don't know, they don't get old. And I've made several log cabin quilts, like a bunch of them. They're one of my favorite quilts to make. And I paper piece them. We've probably talked about this, but I use a paper piecing pattern and I just cut strips of fabric. And I love scrap quilts, so I just take scraps, cut a bazillion strips, and then I just sew and snip as I go. Like I sew down, you know, a log or whatever, and then I clip it off as I go, instead of cutting all of those different size logs, because that takes forever. That takes forever, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And they get all messed up, you know, you have to be so careful about organizing them. And, you know, I don't want to do it, so I just use strips. Padma says Jenny Doan, she knew Jenny Doan would have a trick. She always has a trick. She's fabulous. She is. And she is a kind soul as well. There's that quilt on the wall, and that Lone Star is amazing too. So let me read this from the exhibit. It says value in labor. Yeah, there's a detail. Those shirting prints. Oh, I love them. The shirting prints are everything. Extraordinary quilts have been made by hobbyists and professionals as part of daily routines or to commemorate major events, and for highly personal or entirely practical reasons. And the value that makers attach to them can be different as each quilt. Likewise, quilts can be quantified. Look at this one. Within a variety of economic frameworks. Wait a minute, let me read that again. Likewise, quilts can be quantified within a variety of economic frameworks. Historically, families that produced their own quilts were able to reallocate money that would otherwise have gone to bedding, decoration, gifts, or charitable donations. Quilts could also serve as a source of income, often for women with few other earning options. To the current day, quilt making and connoisseurship drive sizable independent hobby and collecting industries. There's detail shots of this one. This is great. Wow. I think this one comes from the museum. Yeah, it does. The value of a quilt can change over time, becoming a family heirloom, antique, piece of collectible folk art, or occasionally the exemplary work of a particular artist to which the market attaches additional value. As historical quilts become part of a rarefied market system, and contemporary quilt making feeds the hobby industry, an understanding of the cultural and economic changes that have turned quilts from personal mementos into fine art objects can become a tool for examining social values over time, making clear whose labor and what work is considered worth paying for, preserving, studying, and celebrating. That was a long sentence, but good. See, okay, so you can see, this is a really good picture, the fussy cutting. So they fussy cut out a flower from the chintz fabric that they had and sewed it down to make it last and make it beautiful, you know? It's a good picture of this because you can see the turned under, you know, the edge that it's turned under. It's really cool. Hey, nice. Sonia's doing the log cabin like I do it. That's great. It's so satisfying to make a log cabin block. I love it. And this, we know the maker of this quilt, by the way, it was Elizabeth Welsh, made that medallion quilt in 1830. And this is the label on the back. I thought that was kind of cool. Okay, this one, I think I know why it's doing that. This one is amazing. I mean, you know, the pictorial quilts are just incredible. Isn't this a Masonic sign? I've got a folder of Mason themed quilts and Oddfellows quilts, but I have to keep working on it. I have to spend some more time gathering things. But that's a Masonic symbol, right? Yeah, exactly. So they say a little bit about pictorial quilts. In a pictorial quilt, a story is told by stitching together a number of individual blocks, each including recognizable images. A famous example is the AIDS Memorial Quilt. Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't really think of the AIDS Memorial Quilt as a pictorial quilt, but of course. Yeah. Okay. So this is really, really a cool one. It's like, you know, a million little things. Hearts, initials. Look at the horse down here. It's great. I like it too, L. Riggs, a lot. You know, it's like looking at these old quilts. I mean, I don't know. I don't think there's any better way to be inspired to just do your thing. Because, you know, I mean, look, they're just little shapes. Like, look at this, you know, you see the chintz thing cut out, that pink flower. There's lots of Masonic symbols. Yeah, there's probably, so there's more Masonic symbols. Okay. Oh, and look, this is a beehive, kind of, right? It kind of looks like a beehive, this blue thing, and that is an Oddfellows symbol, I think. Let me catch up on the chat. Okay, yeah, it is Masonic. Mason square with the G for God. Okay, interesting. Dee Dee, can you hear the birds? That's great. I'm so glad you can. This is good. Maybe it's a treasure map. So, honey, I love that. Yeah, semiotics and quilts. Oh, semiotics. Semiotics and quilts. What? It's pretty good. Semiotics. There's, and hearts and things. But, like, look at these little, they're just scraps. Maybe these shapes mean something, you know, like these little, I mean, they look like scraps to me, little half moons and things. I mean, some of them really look like something, but a lot of them don't. They just, I mean, this stuff down here by my right shoulder, it's just kind of like on there. I don't know. Like, I'm working on my quilt for a Ukrainian displaced person, and oh, here, this is a great picture of it from Chrissy D. So, I mean, I'm working on it when I can, and there's so much going on, you guys. Just like really exciting things are happening. Let me put it this way, and I don't want to. I'm researching Japan, like in a very specific, targeted, intentional way. Japan, as though I, would want to visit there or something. I don't know, but I'm doing that, and then working on all this, of course, and Quilt Folk stuff, the block of the month. So, but I hit kind of a problem with my quilt, you see, because even though I'm telling you all the time and like learning with you and seeing with you like we just did, these amazing quilts where the person was just creative. It was just total creativity and freedom to make a thing. And these quilts, I mean, like, oh my God, this quilt is so great. Okay, Stephanie Cake, the beehive is Oddfellows. Okay, cool. Ooh, a pyramid with the eye in it. There's so much, and leaves and things. Anyway, so I love these quilts. We love these quilts. But then I'm making my thing, and it doesn't look right, and it looks like it's not this quilt, And I'm like, who do I think I am, And so I kind of stalled on it because I don't know if there should be sashing in between the letters. It seems like there should be, because I want to make the quilt big enough, and it seems weird to just applique the blocks to a muslin back, but that's what this person did. Why can't I just do that? I kind of want to, and like put them the way I want them, but I don't know, because you know what it is. I would love the quilt, and the person would here's another picture of this. The person would surely love it. I can imagine that if you got a quilt with your national slogan on it and you wanted a quilt and it was handmade, you'd probably like it, or someone else would like it and you could give it to them. But you know what it is that I want to share stuff on social media, I guess. I mean, I don't want to. I'll share it with you, but I don't really want to share that stuff on social media because if it doesn't get enough likes, we know this. We know how dumb this all is, We know, we know how hard social media can be. Like, that is not news. Instagram the other day, actually, it was the gal who cut my hair, Mel, who's the best. I've been seeing her for years here in Chicago, and we were saying how, oh, look at this. See? Just needed to keep advancing the slides. That's the Masonic symbol. So, oh, look at this woman down here. It's so cool. And the cat. The cat. It's good content. Like, I hate thinking about it this way. But the truth is it's good content. It's content for Instagram. And yeah, Mel said, it's Instagram's 10 years old. And so we know the pressure that Instagram puts on us, that, like, okay. But it's still true, and it really is real. If I make a quilt and put pictures of it on Instagram, and I know I shouldn't care, and we can tell each other all day that we shouldn't care and that our stuff is great, and we know that it is, and it is great. But if it doesn't get likes, some people make quilts and it's like 3,000 likes. And I don't have a big social media following because I hate doing it so much because of stuff like this. And it's a popularity contest, and it kills me. I hate it so much because I just want to make work. So I'm working on the thing, and I'm like, this is stupid. Really. And I don't know, man. It sucks. It totally sucks. And yeah, don't call me Shirley. The other part is, like, with the show, like, building it from, like, zero. And just, I will not stop doing that. I love making the show so much, but it takes time to build an audience, and it takes time to, figure out how to market something. And like, sometimes I just think this is so terrible. But sometimes I just think, like, maybe people, like, talk about, like, what this is or something, and they just think it's stupid or something. You know what I mean? Anyway, whatever. I'm not dumping this stuff on you guys. I'm just saying, like, the quilt, I, like, hit a roadblock, and it was totally because of, like, sharing it on social media. And that is the worst. That's so lame. Because it's like being scared to show a quilt to, like, I don't know, if your guild is full of, like, judgy, quilt policey people, and you're scared to show it at your guild. This is like a guild that is of thousands, millions of people. Not that millions of people see my stuff, but, like, it's just, there's just more room for you to not, have your quilt be liked by more than, like, I don't know, 45 people. And, like, who cares? But it's there. It's this fact of life. And it's, I cannot even tell you how much I would give to have it not be there. But I know also, I'm just going to go through these quilts. I know also that social media is fantastic. It's how you guys know about this show. I want to blog again. I'd rather put time into blogging than social media. So maybe you would know about it that way. But I let people know that I put a blog post up when I do and when I used to through Facebook. So I understand. It's a double-edged sword. It's not all bad, but it's weird, It's this message is from a person who has a lot of practice stonewalling herself. Dee Marie says, and I think you're speaking about yourself, try swinging your viewpoint in another direction. Focus on border with the quilt. Focus on border, binding, introducing another fabric or another shape. Okay, I'm taking a screenshot of that. That's really good advice. Screenshot. And Marianne says, you're also in the screenshot, which is good. Use Insta and Facebook to promote your presence on Twitch. I'm trying, and just say hi. People like that ephemeral stuff too. Yeah, just like stuff from my life, right? The trouble is that when I'm out and about, I just don't think to take pictures of it, and that's what I gotta do, right? It shouldn't all be quilt stuff. It should be like life stuff, And Marianne, I don't even know 45 people, by the way, she says. Yeah, Padma. Well, that 45 people didn't know about your quilt before. 45 potential friends, 45 connections, and I love looking at other people's stuff. Hell yeah. You're right. You are absolutely right. Like, that is I'm not just saying this, it's a very good point. Like, if 45 people like the quilt and they're like, hey, this person's cool, like, let me check out this Twitch thing, you know, that's a lot of people. You know, it is. So you're right. Prairie Susie. I just want my quilt to be liked by 2 people, me and the recipient. Oh, you're also virtuous. I mean, you're right. It's like, that's the right attitude. And I think having that attitude it's within me. Like, it's within me. But it's almost as though social media can kind of like you can catch a cold. It's sort of like you can catch a social media cold or something, where it just like bums you out for a while. Maybe I think maybe that's kind of what I'm feeling. Pen burrito. Social media brings out our worst popularity insecurities. Sometimes it's like high school. Yes, it is completely like that. Yeah, 2 people who truly engage equals 100 likes from drive-by viewers. Yeah, that's right. It's true. Chasing likes is exhausting, but it's designed to put you in that race. Yes, it is. Anyway, yeah, thanks for letting me share about that. It's that pictorial quilt that kind of kicked it off, right? That it's about being creative, and, you know, who knows who needs to see your quilt for inspiration, right? Okay, so this is one of those whole cloth quilts, these like campaign banners, I think. Is there a picture? Yeah, here's a picture of the whole thing. That campaign cloth. I don't know if I have information about this or not. I don't think so. Here are these are interesting. Some questions from the teaching resource. No, we've kind of asked these questions, actually. Interesting. Okay, yeah. Well, let's just finish up with this. I think this is the last one. Yeah. Oh, no, wait, hold on. I want to look at the stars. Let's look up at the stars. This one, I feel like this quilt really gets around. I mean, there's probably some that are pretty similar, but this specific one, I just have seen this a lot. I've seen it around, and we know who made it. I may have it somewhere. Sorry, guys. I got kind of off the topic. And there's a good detail shot of this. So, I mean, have you do you think your social media engagement has not with any particular account, but just in general, like, are you doing more Instagram stuff and Facebook stuff than you did like 2 years ago, or are you doing less? Because there was a time for a while that I felt like I learned more and more of people, or I heard more and more people say that they were taking Instagram off their phone. Hey, Myra, I'm glad you're back. I hope it went okay. We're talking about social media stuff. I don't know. Looking at these quilts from a Brooklyn museum exhibit in 2013, but it's kind of the background of the conversation. For the conversation. Yeah, do you do more social media or less these days? Look at this quilt. Oh my God. I don't have information about this one because it was just in Chrissy D's blog, and she kind of just talked about Lone Stars, I'm pretty sure. This is probably a Star of Bethlehem when you have these more stars in the corners, and that's what I believe it would be classified as, more than a Lone Star. It would be a Star of Bethlehem. But it looks like, I mean, it looks really thick, like it's sateen or something. I can't be sure. So yeah, so more or less. Okay, Sewing Karen is doing much less social media in the past couple years. Marianne's off Facebook altogether and getting tired of the dross you see on Instagram. Hey, Nazda Quilts. The topic is, we're looking at quilts from Worked by Hand, which was a very interesting exhibit in 2013 where the Brooklyn Museum showed quilts from their collection and kind of took like a feminist angle on it. The subtitle is it was Worked by Hand, Hidden Labor and Historical Quilts, and they exhibited it at the Elizabeth A. Sackler Center for Feminist Art. So they kind of took this labor and, you know, hidden history approach to like these different quilts and discussed them in that kind of with that lens, looked at them with that lens. But then we started talking about social media. I mean, I brought it up because these wonderful quilts make me want to make quilts, and then feel like I have to post them on social media, and it just, it just doesn't always feel so good. So I was wondering about people's social media use. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you all are saying, Padma says, wouldn't the pandemic make people turn more towards social media when they can't get together in person? Yes, that is true. Didn't think about that. Social media use skyrocketed during the pandemic. Very good point. Social media, Stephanie Cake says, it's such a double-edged sword. I took an 18-month break from Instagram over COVID. Okay, and to be honest, it's been hard going back. Interesting. So in Stephanie's case, this is a great quilt. In Stephanie's case, you did less. So Hani's doing less. My life isn't as exciting as it was pre-pandemic. That was part of it for me. During the pandemic, I mean, we were in London, but again, I forget to post stuff and just don't think about, like, I want to be in the moment, and I don't think about posting it later, but I see the value in it. I really do, but I just don't get in the habit. But yeah, when we were in lockdown and stuff, I thought I'd fire up my blog again. I was like, well, this is the perfect time to fire up Paper Girl again. But nothing was interesting. I mean, there was nothing happening that I really wanted to blog about. I blogged about the pandemic, and then I was like, I'm not going to keep blogging about this thing. So I didn't really have any good content. It was weird. Dee Dee's doing less social media and zero Facebook. Same. So Hani just posts about crafting at this point. Makes sense. Dee Marie's doing zero social media stuff except for this chat and emails you find convenient. Or you would read my blog. Well, that would be very good. I would like to write it. Bridgewater, without social media, how would we advertise locally for events? This is a good point. This is like a point in favor of social media. I mean, without it, like, people don't use the newspaper anymore, right? And so if you have an event coming up or whatnot, social media is how you do it. This is a lovely basket quilt. I know you can tell. I know you can tell that. I think this is obviously, second half of the 19th century, we'll call it that. Kitty Hannah, I've discovered a lot of vintage sewing machine and quilting and sewing groups on Facebook. That's most of your social media usage. Yeah, connecting with people. And like I said, like, without social media, how would you all know about this show? Oh my God, look at the quilting. Look at the quilting. I mean, I don't know. I don't think, well, is Twitch considered social media? Probably. I actually looked up if YouTube was considered social media the other day, and it is. Maybe that's not surprising to you, but I wasn't sure. I was like, is it a search engine at this point? Yes, of course, but it is considered a social media platform. So Twitch clearly is too. Quack Quack Cat no longer feels the impulse to post on Facebook. No friends really sharing their daily lives so much. That's interesting. Is it all politics and ads and stuff? I haven't been on Facebook in a minute. When I post to Instagram about the show being live or whatever, if it's a story, I post it to Facebook at the same time. I haven't logged into Facebook in a long time. I just don't want to. Myra's doing less. I used to have a blog. You used to have a blog? Really? Will you post the link to it if you can? If you wish. You don't have to. I would love to look at that. Or put it in the disco. And you used to be super active, Myra, on Flickr. Now it's mostly Twitter and Instagram and Twitch. So on Positive Threads, I used to do it more. So-on says her Instagram is her quilting journal. Okay, and was a way to keep a record for myself without the kiddos. It's just me and my space. See, that's a beautiful thing. It is like an album, you know? You know how I was talking to you about double pink? That's double pink. That pink fabric. That's what that is. It's like that cinnamon kind of color of print on a different pink background. Susanna says more Instagram, but not Facebook. It's become more of a way of socializing, right, during the pandemic and living in a different country. But it's a double-edged sword. I'm not proud of how much time I spend on it. Interesting. L. Riggs closed your FB account during the election. Yeah. I feel that. And Instagram is just all about selling me things lately. So I'm pretty much done with it now. So interesting. Karen says the politics was the last straw for you. Just couldn't do it. And, oh yeah, this is the full thing. Mary and Tea Cake. I think many went to TikTok for diversion, and I'm not willing to go there in case I like it. Yeah, I mean, I have a TikTok account, but I was like, can I do another one? And do you all remember Clubhouse? Clubhouse was something that happened very briefly. It was the voice-only chat rooms. Everyone thought it was going to be the next thing, and you could only use it. You had to be invited to Clubhouse. And it was like this FOMO thing for a minute. And I got an invitation through Eric's coworker. And I went on there, and it was interesting. I mean, did you all remember? Did you remember that? I mean, it was really going to be the next big thing, the future of social media, and then it didn't really catch on. But I don't know. It had some potential. Like, you would enter rooms, and it was all live, and you could like raise your hand in the meeting. It was an app only, and it was just audio. And then I read a tweet. I'm not on Twitter, but I check Eric sometimes. And I read this tweet, and it killed it for me. It said, "Is Clubhouse just a lot of meetings?" And I was like, ooh, I think it is. I think it's all meetings. So I didn't really do it. Quilting politic. Yeah, that Facebook prompt. What's on your mind? It's like, quilts. Exactly. Bridgewater. Social media took over for a lot of magazine advertising. So without it, getting info for, let's say, a local show is difficult. Any ideas? It's very true. Stephanie, I'm just like reading all these comments because they're all really good. Stephanie, I totally get Padma's use of social media because of making connections, but maybe those of us doing less are focusing on more quality connections. That can be true. And the parasocial connections that Padma's talking about, I don't know if you use that word, but I have used it. I mean, we're connecting in this extremely amazing way. I mean, it's like, oh my God, it's sort of life-changing for me. And you could call them parasocial relationships because we're not meeting in person, but the quality is really high here. So in that way, it's like, yeah, it's really meaningful. As meaningful, maybe, except that IRL connections, I mean, if one of you has a new baby, I can't just go over and see your baby. You know what I mean? So that's a quality to a relationship, like with my friend Sophie, that isn't present here. I mean, we know the difference between IRL friendships and social media friendships, but it's interesting to really think about it, to really talk about it. Thank you for just letting me flick through these lovely pictures and talk about this. It's obvious there's a lot to say about it. Pen Burrito says it kind of depends in terms of your use on social media or your frequency on it. Facebook is limited to real life family or focus things. Instagram for quilt pics. But she says, I find I want to take a break because it increases maker FOMO or wanting to buy fabric I don't need. Yeah, exactly. Bip says, I have an IG account so I can follow other quilters and some sports figures. Really? Which ones? But I never post on my account. Yep. FOMO is used to drive Stephanie. Yeah, people need to communicate. They needed to communicate. Kitty found me on YouTube. That's interesting. How did people find me? Twitch is social media for sure. Yeah, Myra's doing more YouTube since the pandemic. Yeah, I am too. Hey, nice. Okay, Karen, yeah, different ways. Found people. Marianne read my blog from the start, man. We know each other through that way. Yeah, you like my vibe, Kitty, and I'm glad. It's not for everybody, but I don't know why. Padma says you get a lot of inspiration, right, from social media, totally. Yes, Myra, this is completely gorgeous. I just love this detail, and this is from Chris Dodson's blog. If somebody has it, if one of the mods have it, will you drop her Instagram in, speaking of, her Instagram in the chat too, just because I really want to give her credit for these pictures. I'm so grateful for them. They saved my bacon. Because I told you my Pauline Parker folder was not what I thought it would be. It was really a problem. I was in I was in trouble until Chrissy D helped me out. What's next? Can Mary create it? Sorry, I keep smacking my lips, and I just want you to know I'm aware of it, because sometimes when people do that, or they do something and it drives you insane, but there's really no nice way to tell them, but I know that I've been doing it, and I am consciously aware that I'm doing it. So if it's been driving anyone crazy, I relieve you of the burden of A, having to deal with it, and B, telling me about it. And anybody who didn't notice it, you are now going to be hyper aware of it, so I can never do it again. I don't know. People do things. They have, little habits. So this is a brilliant quilt, one of many brilliant quilts made by Anna Williams. And Anna Williams was a domestic, as she was described, for a family. I can't think of the family's name right now. She lived in Louisiana, in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We did a story on her for the issue 7 of Quilt Folk for the Louisiana edition, and we put one of Anna Williams' quilts on the cover of that issue. It was my first issue as editor-in-chief, and the pictures that we took of Anna Williams' quilts in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, are some of the most beautiful pictures of quilts I've ever seen in my life. Melanie Zacek was the photographer. We were like marching through this very wet field in Baton Rouge to hang the quilts on the fence. I'll ask Mike if it's okay if I show those, because we're going to talk about Anna Williams at some point in a very meaningful, deep way, because she's a fascinating person and a great American artist. So very interesting. The disco is really good. The only Twitch creator you watch is me, Myra, but it's giving you street cred on an elevator ride. On elevator rides in buildings with your 20-something Amazonian neighbors in Seattle. They see you on Twitch, they think it's cool, and they seem surprised. Yes, I'm telling you. I don't know if you heard me at the top of the show, but live streaming is the future. Recorded content is always going to be there. It's like TV, right? But I think more and more, I think this is my last quilt. Yeah, I think more and more live streaming is going to be, I'm going to get big, because that's what I got for you. Live streaming is going to be what people do more and more and more. So, and I think that it is the next social media. I do. I think it's the next phase of it. Most of quilts, it's really, the Discord. We do Discord. That's social media, right? That's what I like. I mean, I really like that. I'm reading through stuff here too. But the, I think live streaming, and it's not that you have to have a show. I mean, I think that more and more people will be live streaming their lives. And I know there's Instagram lives and stuff like that, but a lot of the Instagram live stuff is, like I'm sure. Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of, I count up to the chat. Okay, sorry. Hey, Susan or Michael. Oh my God, I'm so glad you're here. I just think, people do live streams on Instagram and Facebook and stuff, but a lot of times it's to sell stuff. And yes, Dee Marie, a lot of celebrities, they do podcasts. That's true. And I think celebrities do, Instagram lives, like Cardi B, and different people, celebrities will get on and chat with their audience and things. But I don't know. I just think it's the next form that will be more ubiquitous, because it's something that people aren't doing as much as they're doing photos and things. But photography came, and then movies came, right? In the world, there was photography, and then there were pictures, and then there were moving pictures. And I think the trajectory of social media, we all have cameras now, we all have pictures. Well, more and more and more, to me, moving pictures will come, because we're moving, we're moving all the time. And so a movie is a pretty interesting thing to look at, and it's certainly more dynamic than a photograph. Not saying photographs are dynamic, but you know what I'm saying. It's literally dynamic. And so I think that more and more there's going to be cameras on people, even if it's just you in your kitchen making dinner and you're not like hosting a show, but of course not everybody will do it, and the kids will do it sooner than other people, But that's what I think is going to happen. That's what I think is going to happen. I think live streaming is the next thing. And one of the reasons I wanted to do this show, Twitch is fun. One of the reasons I wanted to do this show at all, whether it was on YouTube or Twitch or whatever, is that I feel like quilt makers, and we might have maybe talked about this before a little, but quilters have had, when Instagram and Facebook came along, when social media came along, it was so exciting for everybody. And we had this new toy to play with, basically, to share stuff and to connect, all the things we've been talking about. And there hasn't been anything new since that. There hasn't been like a new toy to play with that elevates, shares, accentuates, celebrates what we do. And this is true for lots of different subcultures, of course, cooking and tattooing and, whatever it is. But live streaming is a new toy, like it's like a new form factor. And I think more and more people will start to do it and see how fun it is and see what it can do. And so, time will tell if Quilt Nerd was, sort of a little bit ahead of its time. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not saying like, oh yeah, this is so magical or whatever. But I mean, it's just so wonderful. And it has such, like Dee Marie said with podcasts, I mean, there are, there are, what did you say that made me think? Oh yeah, podcasts. There's podcasts, but for us, for quilters, podcasts are amazing, but they're not visual, and live streaming is. And we make things that are visual. We're not just talking about philosophy here, where you don't really have visuals. And I listen to In These Times, which is a great philosophy podcast. It's so good. There's no visuals needed, You're not watching a show on philosophy. You're listening to people talk about it. There's nothing better than a podcast for that. That's the medium. But for us, seeing the quilts in real time and talking about them in real time together, not on social media, on Instagram or something, you're not talking with anybody there. You're looking at stuff and you're commenting. And it's in real time if you see someone comment or like your post right then, but you're not talking to them. And we're talking together. And we're looking at things. And that's, to me, the best of all of that. It's the best of the podcast, and it's the best of the social media post, and it's the best of TV. It's like TV, only to me, it's it's better. It's better because, well, in some ways, because I can put a show together. I'm always working on this show, but I can put content together and go live, and I don't have to have a station identification. And I'm sure Twitch takes care of those things, but you know what I'm saying? Okay, and Dee Marie and Susanna, you're all talking. Thanks, Pam. I'm a trendsetter. Maybe we are. And I say we because there is no show without you. If there are videos on, okay, I'm getting back to what Susanna and Dee Marie said, and several others of you are saying, but there are videos on YouTube about what to do when you start a Twitch channel and you don't have any viewers. You go live and there are 0 people watching you. And it's very, very depressing to think about. And when my very first stream, when I was just testing things out, yeah, totally. I had 0 viewers and then like 1 because someone would come in because they were on Twitch and like clicked on my thing. But if you have 0 viewers on the Twitch channel, on the twitch.tv, if your video comes up as an option to watch and there are 0 viewers on it, you're not likely to just randomly click on that. You're much more likely to click on a video that has a count of 3,000. And so it's really tough. It's really tough to get going. Belle, my first viewer ever, I had people, you all came in and gave me the confidence to keep doing this, because before too long I had like 15, 20. And what's weird is like right now there's 40 something, and it kind of changes back and forth. My counter is a little slow, and then it catches up, and then I don't know how it works, but it's 40 something, right? And it's weird because there was a while where I was hitting 100 like pretty consistently, and that wasn't that long ago. And I don't know if it's time difference. I don't know, but it's plateaued and then gone down a little bit. but then I have more subscribers than ever. So I don't know, you guys. I don't know. One of the comments that was being made was that there are Twitch channels, very lucrative ones, that are just the camera turned on a kid studying, and that's all. And it's really true. Knitting, like Sunday Social, and those numbers are good. I mean, I should probably do more Sunday Socials, right? I probably should. I totally should. But this is what really excites me. Well, the Sunday Socials are really fun, but this stuff is what the show is based on, you know? Participation. Exactly. I'm sorry I missed some of this stuff while I was talking, but thanks, L. Riggs. I do think the show's getting better all the time. Pam, that's a good idea. I'd love to do a trunk show, but it would have to be like subscribers only. Hey, little bird. We're just jamming. We're jamming, hanging out. Myra, if I ever create a Twitch, it will be of my quilting gloved hands, chain piecing on your baby lock for laughs. Listen, you say that, but then one day, I'm not kidding. If you did that and started a channel where you were sewing and it was just you sewing on your sewing machine, you watch, like, that channel will grow, and you will then help Quilt Nerd because you will send your whole audience to raid this show. Like, I don't want to say I have no doubt that would happen, but that would not surprise me at all, because this is a weird, like, it's kind of the Wild West right now with live streaming. It's just really, it's really interesting. And remember, the way I started all of this is because a journalist or a podcaster that I like. Look at this crate. Look what I'm wearing. This is Eric's sweatshirt. I mean, with the magic shamrocks. Anyway, see, now I really look like I'm on Twitch. I can't hear. I started the show because it was mesmerizing. I was watching this podcaster, or I was listening to this podcaster. She said she had a Twitch program. I was like, Twitch? I thought that was for gaming. I thought that was for video gaming. And I go on Twitch and I'm like, I log in with my Amazon Prime thing, click. Great, I have a Twitch account, whatever. And I watch her, and she gets small she does this, and she talks to you about the videos and things that she's watching, and she shows you different things, and it's a blast. And the chat was going crazy. I was like, oh my God, you can like chat with her and like do all this stuff. And Magic Shamrocks, exactly. Hey 5Z. Oh, it's my husband, and he tells me what this sweatshirt is. It's from a great bar in New Orleans. Well, honey, I don't think you heard me come in with it on, but I mean, it's St. Patrick's Day, and it was the first thing I looked at when I went to your closet to find a green t-shirt. Anyway, so, you know, it was so exciting to see that I could engage with this journalist, and it was mesmerizing to watch her work, basically. And so the live stream thing is just, who knows where it's going to go, but I think it's going to go. I think it's going to, I should say, be the next thing that everyone is doing. I just think that that's the case. Help, I'm getting small. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Karen, look what I can do. Wait a minute. You're going to love this. Help, I'm getting small. Oh no. I'm so small. Look how small I am. Look how small I can get. Whee. I mean, look how fun that is. Whee. Look, I'm as small as I am in my picture in the ad. Whee. I'm flying. Wait, now let's see how big I can get. Oh, Pam, coming in with Estelle. See, isn't that fun? And like, that's really funny. Oh no! Oh, that's as big as I can get. Is that true? Ugh. Oh, that's too big. We don't need that. Anyway, but that's the thing with the live stream. I mean, that's really funny. Like, Pam, you just did. No, I'm a little too small. I got to get the ratio right. Okay. That's really funny. And that's this interesting kind of comedy. I mean, kind of humor, I should say. Like, I was flying around the screen because I'm using this program where I can make things larger or smaller on my screen. Okay, it's super fun to learn. Not easy, fun, not that hard. And then, like, we have these inside jokes with Estelle. And I made that GIF of Estelle Witherspoon, the great Estelle Witherspoon, flipping back and forth, like being our little, it's just this community. And it's like, that was the perfect thing. I'm like jumping around, being a goofball, and Penn's there with Estelle. It's so great. It's that kind of stuff that makes this really fun and completely different from regular social media. And it just, it's just, a nun maker. Okay, Alice, drink the other bottle. Exactly. Can I multiply myself? Oh, that's such a good idea. That's such a good idea. That's such a good question. Let me see if I can do it. I don't think I can. I think I can't. I really would try, but it's kind of boring. There's one source for this. Like, this is the camera source. So I can't add it again. But if I had another camera, I could do that. A lot of the gamers do. They'll have like 2 different cameras on them. It's so fun. And you don't have to have a lot of gear. You don't. I've got cool stuff because guess what? 5Z over there, he's my beautiful husband, and he's like supports my dreams. And I was single for a really long time, and people loved me and supported my dreams, but it was, I have a partner who supports my dreams and loves me, and it's like unbelievable. I never thought I would have that. So, the lights that are on right now and this, Eric got me those things, but you don't have to have those things. But if you get really into it, okay, Dusty, that's fun, because then it's like your hobby and you do all this stuff. Anyway, it's a whole thing. I can multitask. Yeah. Oh, I just smacked my lips. Yeah, I read the chat and talk at the same time. It isn't easy. That is really true. And you've seen, thanks guys. The other thing that's true about the difference is that the on-camera stuff, I've been doing it for a long time. On stage, doing it a long time. I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. Like, I love live streaming because the camera part and the chat part, the communication part, no problem. Like, I can do it. And not everybody, is going to love my style, whatever. You have newscasters you like, and celebrities you like, and actors you like, and others that you just don't. But the content part, I've got it on lock, and so that's another reason why I love this. Now, when I say that, I say it because there's so many things that I can't do well, and so playing to my strengths feels so great. I'm not good at taking time for things that, who is? But they kind of bore me, or like I get done with something and it's hard for me to really details sometimes are hard for me because I get excited about the next thing. But this show allows me to do that. I can get excited about the next thing. And because it's not a presentation, and I do those, and those I just I make sure all my I's and T's are dotted and crossed and all that stuff. But this is different. This is looser. So we get to hang and learn and do all that stuff. And so anyway, yeah, my experience has paid off. I have a degree in theater and in writing. So it does. It actually does. I knew that theater degree would pay off. Anyway, everybody. So what year? It was my, okay, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Hopefully, Dee Marie, it isn't easy to read the chat and stay on task. And I know or not stay on task, but stay on topic. And I know I jump around a lot, but that's another reason why the forum is possible for people to do. Even if you're not a presenter or something. I think if you cook in your kitchen or you're sewing, Myra, you can mention something that you saw or whatever, or you can just sew. And I think people connecting through just everyday tasks like that, I just think it's going to happen more and more. And no presentation necessary. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird thing. Yeah, it flows so naturally. Well, there was something else. Was I going to show you something else? No, just the picture of my mom. Oh, God. Okay, let me see. Okay, let me see this. So I don't know if you saw this, but that's my mom and Liz. Let me see if I'm going to do something ridiculous. And then, I got to go. There's stuff to do. I'm going to get in my mom's pocket. I don't know if she has a pocket, but I'm going to get in the basket on her goofy little vest. It's kind of weird, actually. See? I'm sorry. Strange. Now I can be on, whoa, sorry. And now I'll be on Liz's head. Watch this. This is ridiculous. You know what I'm doing right now? I'm in Liz Porter's head. I am procrastinating. I don't want to get off the phone. I almost said the phone. I don't want to get off the phone because I just have so much to do. Okay, but I have to. And so do you. You people have things to do too. Okay. Well, you know what? That's the show. Thank you so much. What a great discussion. I think I needed it. I was stressed today because I really, really want every single show to be good, really good, because it might be somebody's first time here, and it might be somebody's first time watching the replay. And that's the other thing, the replays, you guys, just one other thing, the replays on YouTube, like 300 views, you know, like it's not enough. And I don't know how, unless Eric quits his job and works with me full time. Like, how do I get those views up? I've got to make more video content. That's the thing, is I have to make more video content that isn't Quilt Nerd. So people can be like, oh, I really like her videos. What is this thing? And they're like, oh my God, this is great. I'm going to go watch your show. But as I've probably said before, I mean, making recorded video content is insanely, like, it's so great. I've got to find a way to do it where it doesn't take me weeks to make a video. It's just not possible. Block of the month, Quilt Nerd, studying Japan. I'll tell you later, hopefully. And, you know, I mean, just whatever. But it's like those YouTube views are not good. And that's kind of like the social media thing. And I mean, I guess I'm showing you my insecurities and it's annoying, but it's like, that's a little bit like, ugh, like I'm used to bigger numbers than that. There's no other way to say it. And so it's like, it just makes me nervous. I'm like, I know that it's working when I'm here with you all. I mean, this is like it's the best. It's working. Like, we know it's working. We're like throwing Estelle's into the chat and like, it's crazy. Thanks, Pam. But like, yeah, it's, I want it to work for lots of people, because the more people who do it, the more people care about this stuff and learn about it. And that's like so amazing. So, okay. Yeah, 10-minute quilt quickies. Okay, here's what I want to do. I want to do bits. Like, yes, not even 10 minutes. And look, and you all are saying you watch tutorials that are seconds long, 1 minuters. This is a really good idea. So the only trouble is, the reason that I've got a script here for a Romar Bearden quilt, like, quickie. But here's the problem. And I know I'm just paralyzing myself on this, you know? Okay, Karen, yeah. If I get something wrong, like, it's like the Romar Bearden stuff, like those wonderful patchwork collages and the quilting party and the beautiful picture, like, there's no content about that. And all of the segments that I do on this show, they could all be recorded videos. Like, I could do a little video about, I don't know, this quilt and like signature quilts or something in Vermont. Like, it could really, because I have to make a lot of content. It has to be really good. But what if I get it wrong? And like, fair use, I can do all of this under fair use. But when somebody copyright struck my quilt clothes video, I mean, a lot of people saw that because it was right when the video came out. And I mean, I don't know, like, the chatter about that really scared me. I was like, not because I did anything wrong, but because, like, I don't know. It's just, I've been sort of, I don't know. I lost some confidence because I'm just like, is this going to work? Not because of the quilt video, but just because of the rumors that were going around. And I still have to write that blog post. And anyway. So TikTok length attention span is your go-to sometimes. Okay, right on. The quilt history videos. Okay, that's what sucked you in, Kitty. That's what I got to do. This is long-form journalism. That makes sense. It does. This is the long-form stuff, the deep dive. And then the other stuff is the short. Okay, yeah, maybe it's, okay, Kieran's the same, okay, with the history videos. Okay, maybe it's, thanks, Robin. I thought you were saying great show today, goodbye, but, well, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. I do work really hard on it, that's for sure. So maybe that's the way. Yeah, on the t-shirts. Hey, Peace, Love Puppies. I meant to say that next week is my meeting with the the designer who's going to make the logo for Quilt Nerd. It's going to be amazing. I don't know what it is yet, but it's going to be amazing. He's so good. These little short videos. Yeah. Like 3 minutes, right? And I could do that. I just keep making it harder than it needs to be. Where I'm like, I'm going to make a 10-minute video on Romare Bearden and his life in quilts. Like, maybe, Eric, if you're still here, maybe we should just, when you get home, let's just have a weekend and make 5 videos. Just help me make 5 videos. Like, fact check for me some stuff. I don't know what else you're going to do, but you're going to do something, and we'll just see. I got to do it, guys. I think interviews, yes, interviews. But how do I make them different? I completely agree. It's why I haven't done them on this show yet. It's not because of the tech stuff. It's just like, how do I make them different? And part of the way it would be different, though, is that if I have Tula Pink on, we're actually looking at her quilts while we're talking. And that's the difference between this and podcasts. You can talk to Tula Pink on a podcast. I was on a podcast with Tula Pink for Just Want to Quilt in Tulane when we did the Quilt Folk pattern project. But you can't see the stuff. But here you can. So maybe I just need to jump in there. Thanks, Eric. Okay, good. You have a list of stuff to help with. Well, you see, that's how it's going to be. Okay, short videos. Sonia's for the short videos. Okay, that's what we're doing, Eric. Next weekend? Yeah. Or sometime we're doing it. 5 videos. We got to do it. It's the way. That's the only way to build the YouTube stuff, and YouTube is the way you build the Twitch stuff. There's a million videos about that on YouTube, is that your YouTube channel funnels people into your Twitch channel. It's just the way it is right now. It might be the opposite someday. I don't know. Rapid fire favorite interviews. Yeah, exactly, Robin's Nest. Oh, Eric. Padma has suggested you are in the videos. We'd do that 1,000%. I don't know if you would, but anyway, guys. Okay, it's almost 1:30. A great show. Went in a different direction, and I honestly needed it to. I'm really glad you were here. I mean, God, it's just invaluable. Thank you so much. And you are the people who have been here to make this happen. I mean, it's you. Like, you join in, and we're like, yes. And you get it. See, you're here because you get it. So, much love to you, everybody. Prairie Susie, it's always a lovely time. It really is. And art and quilts, yep. Okay, bye, everybody. And I am going to do this as I say goodbye because it was really fun. Whee! Whee! Ah! Wah! Where am I? Whoa! Ah! Okay.